Okay, here we go. This time I actually remember to mute my phone. So, due to popular demand yesterday, today we continue playing Phoenix Wright, and this should mark the end of the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Phoenix Wright trilogy. But as sad as that it is, this will also mark the beginning of Miles Edgeworth Investigations trilogy. Soon the adventure will be over, yes, but a new one will commence. Hello Bodoka, how you doing? How you doing? Happy Sunday! Obviously, when we are done with Phoenix Wright, before we start playing Miles Edgeworth, I will give my classic summary on how I feel about the game, what was good, what was not so good, my favorite case, and all that good stuff. But man, I can't believe it that we are on the final stretch. Because if my calculations are correct, we should be done within an hour, right? Because it's going to be the last part of the trial. So that means that after my thoughts on the game and everything, I think we will have like 45 minutes to play Investigations. Subji, hello Josh, how you doing? Welcome. Today we finished Phoenix Wright due to popular demand. How are you doing? Happy Sunday. Me driving. Damn. Drive safely, man. I don't know why, but I have like a weird feeling. Not about the game, but I don't know. Has it ever happened to you that you have like this weird feeling that you cannot shake off, and you feel like a little bit uncomfortable with it? But it's gonna be fine. Where is my Phoenix? About to start, Blacklock card, about to start. I was actually waiting for you. So we are going to start in like 3 minutes, okay? This is the pre-show. And how are you doing? Happy Sunday. I've been playing a little bit of Valheim. I don't know how many of you have played Valheim or actively play Valheim, but I cannot be the only one. I've been consuming my favorite character media non-stop. I see. But I cannot be the only one that does this. I have reached the point in which I need silver. I killed the bone mass, I got the bone to find the silver, and whenever I find a silver vein, I excavate it completely until I see the full vein. Then I hit it in the middle with the pickaxe so it breaks all together at once in one big boom, and I don't have to mine every little piece. But a friend told me that's psycho behavior. That told me like, who the F mines the whole vein first? I swear these out-of-town Sunday drivers are just beyond dumbasses. I also hate working on Sundays. Damn, I feel you, man, I feel you. When I was working at a shop few years ago and I had to work on Sundays, it was horrible. Especially because it was not only the tourists being the clients now, it was also the local people being clients, and it would be so much work. And people can be so stupid because, oh, I have been in the queue for so long, and it's like, yeah, and I've been serving the people for so long, like, but people is just can be just dumbass. But you know what? Let's start gaming. Let's start gaming. Tomorrow, come faster, please. I need to see. Oh, make tomorrow come faster. Well, sadly, there is nothing I can do about that, but there is something I can do for you right now, which is play Phoenix Wright. How does that sound? Okay, here we go. Iris wouldn't tell me, but who called her, but still. I think that just maybe I know who it was. That night, the victim was killed in the garden of the inner temple. And the criminal wasn't just there by accident, which means that the killer knew of Dahlia's plan from the very beginning. And one more thing, the victim was moved to Hasakura Temple to the Hasakura Temple side by pendulum. In other words, the criminal couldn't cross the bridge. That means they were stuck on the inner temple side for almost an entire day. Exactly. So the culprit... Wait a second. So yesterday I thought it was Godot. Now I'm 100% sure it was Godot. Because he couldn't be the prosecutor in the case for the first date when the bridge still was broken, and his excuse was, I was busy with important matters. He was stuck and he couldn't go. That's the reality of it. And I'll have more treatment for the joints between my palm and my two fingers on the right hand by acupuncture. Oof. So, if you open the God record, you will find your answer. No, I'm certain it was Godot. Like after that, like I'm pretty sure it was Godot because it's the only thing that makes sense. He couldn't be on the first date for some reason. He... like... It just makes sense. It just makes sense. Because... you guys were saying history is repeating itself, so that hinted me that it was a phone karma situation. But now... after that, and if the killer was really trapped on the aisle, to put it like that, because they described that section as an aisle, the only one who could have been was Godot. It has to be Godot. Was someone that was in Hasakura Temple the following day. That's as much help as I can give you. The rest of the battle is yours to win or lose. Okay, I got it. Thank you, Mia. Finally, it's almost time to bring this case to an end. What exactly did Maya see anyway? There is something that happened in the second case in this game that happened in this one. The second case in this game that happened in this one. Wait. What was the second case in this game? So... the recipe turnabout? You mean the second without counting the tutorial, or the second counting the tutorial? The cafe case. Okay, so the one with Maggie. Wait a second. He did a tigre. He did a tigre. Well, it's fine. Let's keep going. Otherwise, I will get to lose into it. But yeah, I'm pretty certain. Let's keep going and see what happens. But my bet is on Godot right now. What exactly did Maya see anyway? And who was it that actually killed Misty Faye? Whoever it was, I have to prove it. Me, all by myself. Ah, lol. Yesterday we ended right before the save point, huh? February 10th, 3:36 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 7. Now then, before we proceed any further, I'm going to announce the results of the test we had performed earlier. Test? Yes, test on the bloody dagger that was found stuck in the pine tree. Oh yeah, that. I totally forgot about it. That's the weapon that Maya Fey used when she fought the victim. So, what are the results? Was it the victim's blood or... Due to time constraints, a full test wasn't possible. However, there is one thing we can say with certainty. The blood that was on this dagger was not the victim's blood. Ah? That is all. Now then, let's restart this trial. So it wasn't Misty's blood on the dagger. Then whose was it? I'm sure both the defense and the prosecution know this, but this trial is rapidly coming to a close. Both sides will need to show some firm evidence with their claims. I understand, Your Honor. From what I've heard, the witness is dangerously weak, physically speaking, so let's finish this quickly. Agreed. Very well. Please bring in the last witness. Ah. Witness, please tell us your name and profession. Maya Fey. My profession is, I'm the assistant manager at Wright & Co. Law Offices. Maya? According to the magazine I have here, you are a spirit medium of the Kurain channeling technique. I'm frightened. The Fey clan, I don't want any more to do with it. Oh, Maya, the pain the Fey bloodline causes must be unbearable. Very well. Now then, Miss Fey. When the event occurred, you were in the garden of the inner temple, and you witnessed the moment of Miss Elixtos Nim's murder. Is this correct? I didn't see... Straighten up this instant, young lady. Huh? Pick your head up and speak clearly. There's always time for crying later. But Your mother was killed right in front of your eyes. There is nothing you can do to change that fact. But there is something you can do. You can finish this. You've been watching the whole thing, right? You've seen the witnesses come out and you've seen us squeeze the truth out of them. Now it's your turn. Let us hear your testimony. On the night of the crime, what exactly did you see happen? Witness, if you please.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ah, I feel so bad for Maya. She looks so frail right now.
I was passing through the garden on the way to preparation room when it happened. Suddenly someone struck me over the head. I stumbled and ended up against the stone lantern. I think I screamed, "Help me!" Then something warm splashed over me. That's when I lost consciousness.
So you were struck on the head. I suppose it must have been this stuff. Maya, the person who hit you. It was Dahlia Hawthorne, wasn't it?
I'm sorry, Nick. I just couldn't see. I don't know who it was.
Maya, think hard.
Sorry, Nick, but I really couldn't.
Can say it was especially good night for you, young ladies, to be walking around alone. It seems that it will be hard to determine the criminal through testimony alone. Very well then, Mr. Wright, please begin your cross-examination. Maya, hang in there. Oh my god. She doesn't look well at all. Okay, so I don't see the need to press on this one. So, because this clarifies why she was there. And that's fine. Here I feel the need to press, but I think it's obvious that it was with the staff. And it was from behind, so she couldn't see in that moment. I'm gonna press anyways, but she doesn't look too well, so I'm afraid to press because it may be too much for her. I really want to pick this with caution, but for now I will press and see what happens. Who did it? Who hit you?
Well, I didn't see who it was. I was hit from behind.
I knew it. You didn't see the person. But after that, your attacker was in front of you. How could you not see who it was?
Oh, let me think for a sec. I'm sorry, I just can't remember.
Maya's really having a hard time. What should I do? I will leave her alone. I feel like pressing harder will not give me any answers here. Considering the conditions at the crime scene, press, it's not surprising that she didn't see the attacker. No. I don't really want to pressure her too much. Like, I feel so bad for this. So it looks like even you got some compassion. Yeah, you see, even Godot is fine with this. Judging by the testimony thus far, the identity of the attacker was, most likely, the spirit that was channeled by Alistoc's nymph, Dahlia Hawthorne. Very well, please continue with your testimony. What happened after you were struck on the head?
I stumbled and ended up against the stone lantern.
Okay, that much we know.
I think I screamed, "Help me!"
Okay, let's press on that one. You think you screamed, but you're not sure?
Listen, I was a complete wreck. It was dark and I couldn't see my attacker. Was it a man or a woman, an adult or a child? I have no idea. I was so scared out of my wits.
Believe me, my dear, I'm certain I would have soiled my rose.
I thought this person might attack me, so Anyway, I'm pretty sure I screamed. I thought that it was my last hope.
Wow, it sounds like poor little Maya really was out of her mind. But I wonder what she meant by last hope. Huh. What do I do? Ask about my last hope, I guess, since he emphasized on that. Was someone else in there that she considered that her last hope? Because why she scream is obvious. Wait a minute, Maya. What is this my last hope stuff?
What? What do you mean by your last hope?
No. That's what you said. You said my last hope.
What? I said what? That? What?
Look, you were facing an attacker you couldn't see, and you screamed, right? You screamed, help me.
Yeah.
But you testified that you screamed because you thought it was your last hope.
Oh, well, that's like what you do. That's what you do call it when it happens.
Maya does nothing is not doing so well up there.
Yeah, Oh, that's right. I remember now. I was facing my attacker, but that's not who I was screaming at.
What did you just say?
Yeah, that's right. It was the person behind me. My attacker. It was the person behind my attacker that I was yelling at. That's why I was screaming for help. Screaming too for help.
What is it now?
I messed up, didn't I? I didn't mean to let that slip out.
Huh? Witness, are you absolutely sure about what you are saying? Behind the attacker, there was another person.
I mean to keep that part a secret. What have I done?
It takes a ton of pressure to make a diamond. That's what I always say. She doesn't want to help you, bro? No, I think she feels guilty because Godot saved her life and she doesn't want him to go to prison for killing the attacker. I think that is what she means by that. I'm so convinced it was Godot. And the fact that she feels so guilty about it and she was trying to hide it is because she doesn't want him to be in trouble.
A ton of pressure?
You're in a court of law here. You can't make things up or try to hide things in this chamber. Witness, the information you just presented is vital to the case. I want you to add it to your testimony.
I could see a man.
Okay, a man. So she'd rather go to jail and screw up Phoenix than that? No, I think she's more in the trying to get a resolution that doesn't screw anyone over. But she's not that smart, so that's what's happening. But she's saying, I could see a man. The only man that could have been is Godot. But the question is, right? Because I'm convinced that it's Godot. I'm like 100% convinced on that. But the only reason I can think of for him to be there is because he said previously, Phoenix, you failed to protect them, referring to Maya and Mia. And I'm pretty sure that he was there to protect Maya, but how did he know? What relation does he have to Dahlia? And to Morgan? Like, how did he know the plan? Like, what is his relationship? Because, okay, I can see him having a crush or for Mia and or something like that. Or seeing Maya as her protégé because he was Mia's mentor and he feels a certain degree of responsibility. But I think there is something missing in here.
Then something warm splashed over me.
That has to be blood. Wait. I feel like in this statement, this has something to do with it, because Godot said that this looks clean to him. So that's one thing. The other thing that... But behind my attacker by the stone lantern, but if Godot was behind the attacker by the stone lantern, that means that Maya... No, actually, that means that Elixir's... Wait. But didn't Maya say she found herself with her back against the stone lantern? I stumbled and attended against the stone lantern. So, when did they change... When did they rotate around? When did the attacker end up against the stone lantern? And was Godot there already? And the only reason for Godot to think that was clean as hell, and to pretend that what is written there is not there, is because he didn't see the moment of the writing? I wanna press on this a little bit. A man? Who was this man?
Well, you see, I couldn't see.
Remember the cafe case? Yeah, but don't give me hints, I'm pretty sure I have a solid theory here. It has to be... You couldn't see. She used this excuse twice now.
Well, you know, the lantern isn't very bright.
Lantern light, did you say?
There's a great big stone lantern in the garden. They always light it when the acolyte is there for training. Hey, you know what? You know what they say? Under the lantern, darkness reigns. So I could see the person that was further away, but not my attacker who was closer. Plus, there weren't any other light sources in the garden at the time.
Okay, let's present the lantern then. So there was a man standing behind your attacker.
Yeah.
That man, he's the killer. He stabbed her from behind. He's the one who killed Elixir's Nim, otherwise known as Misty Faye, your mother.
The killer?
Maya, you know who killed your mother, don't you? What's the meaning of this, Mr. Wright? To be frank, Your Honor, I think she's in shock and quite confused. That's why she hasn't noticed the huge problem with her testimony.
Huh? What do you mean? What problem?
Maya, on the night of the crime, that stone lantern was out of commission.
Huh? What?
It's true. There was no light anywhere in the garden that night.
No!
Order, order in the court. Mr. Godot, explain this. Add the pureness of milk to the perfect clear darkness of coffee stir. That is the state of the witness mind right now. A cup of café au lait. Au latte. I don't know how to pronounce that. Café au lait. Is that even legal? Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright's words are milk, and you are the spoon, Your Honor. I am a spoon. I'm no spoony beard. I'll have you know. You must have noticed it. You must have noticed it. You must have noticed it too, Wright. This witness' mental state is highly unstable right now. It's not hard to understand why she would make a little mistake like that. Sorry, but that's not going to cut it. What did you say? If there truly was no light in the garden, then there is a fatal contradiction in the witness' last bit of testimony.
Nick?
May I? Recall the witness' statement about her attacker. She said she didn't know if it was a man or a woman, an adult or a child. And yet, the witness could describe the person standing behind the attacker, and she quietly described him as a man. You could just read the Japanese writing, Cafe Ori. In other words, that would have to mean that Maya actually saw our mystery person, despite it being so dark that she couldn't see the face of her own attacker.
No!
Order, order, order! What in the world does this all mean, Mr. Wright? Are you saying Miss Faye saw the real killer under pitch black conditions? Wright, do you have any idea what you are proposing? How could she have seen in the dark? There was no other light source at the scene. There is something that you can only see in the dark, Mr. Godot. Maya, did you see the killer? You did see the killer was in the dark. You did see who the killer was in the dark. And now you're trying to cover for him. Yeah, it's Godot. It's Godot. Cover for the man that killed her mother. There is only one conclusion I can draw from this. You know who this man is.
Please, Nick. I don't know anything. Please, I'm begging you.
You talk a good game, Wright, but let's see if you can walk the walk. It was pitch black, so what could have the witness see? I'm calling your bluff.
No, Nick, don't. Please, stop.
Maya is that set on protecting this guy. Okay, it's clearly Godot. If I was sure before, now I'm like convinced. The man who murdered Maya's long-lost mother. But I can't let him get away with it. I'm a lawyer, an officer of the court. I'm here to find the truth. Alright, Mr. Wright, time to show us what you've got. Who is this person that you say Miss Faye saw in the darkness? The only person that has a freaking glowing face. Prosecutor Godot. Please stop. Yamete kudasai. LOL. Freaking YouTube chat has auto translates, so I can see you wrote Yamete Kudasai. In the software I use to combine chats, but in the YouTube chat, in the native YouTube chat, I see please stop. Because it was pitch black, Miss Faye was able to recognize the killer easily. I'm sure the court would like to see it for itself. How this is possible, yes? Amazing tech. What, but how do you propose to show us something like that? It's easy. We just need to recreate the conditions of that night. Conditions? Your Honor, the defense officially requests that all the lights in this courtroom are turned off. What? This is, but it can be. That was a nice bit of deduction, right? Well everyone, this is the man Maya saw on the night of the murder. Order! Prosecutor Godot, what is the meaning of this? Surely you must be shocked to hear yourself accused of such a thing. Why aren't you denying it? Your Honor, you're asking the wrong person. What do you mean by that? If you got a question as the witness, that's one of my rules. The defense and the prosecutor position switch, lol, indeed. Well, Maya, how about it? What you saw that night? Was it 3 glowing red lights? Well, witness, answer the question.
You're wrong. I never saw that.
Maya?
I thought the person that stabbed my mother was a man. For a totally different reason.
What? Witness, Mr. Wright, what the... Stop your chattering, Your Honor. Chattering? If it's worth asking, ask the witness. That's one of my rules. All right. Well then, let's continue with the testimony. Please tell us how you knew the killer was a man.
Yes, Your Honor. I didn't realize it until after I woke up, but when I came to, I was just lying on the training hall floor. By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. The torches were lit and the body was gone. All of the snow around the stone lantern had been carefully cleaned up too. Since the person did all that work alone, I just assumed it was a man.
So it was after the crime took place that the witness came to think the real killer was a man.
Yes, that's right. I'm sorry, Your Honor,
Maya, stop lying. No need to apologize. It's as Mr. Godot says, you're utterly exhausted. It's only natural that you would be a little confused. Also, if you consider the situation you described, it doesn't seem too much of a stretch to assume the culprit was a man. Mr. Wright, proceed with your cross-examination. Only one person could have missed the bloody name. Yeah, that's true, and that's Godot. The only person who could have missed it is Godot. He only sees in red. The killer. Again, due to Maya exhaustion. I will not be pressing her on everything. When I came to, I was lying there on the training hall floor. This is consistent with what we know from before, when she channeled Mia to ask her for help, because she fainted. She's not exhausted, she's just lying. Less talking, more pressing. No, but this is consistent, so there is no need on pressing on that. And this is also consistent because we saw that ourselves, and we also thought, like, when we were examining the crime scene, we thought this was suspicious. Like, why is it so neat if it was snowing and everything else? And this is the part I think is a little fishy. The torches were lit. Yes, that's how I noticed the whole scene had changed. I'm going to say the killer who lit the torches. I'm going to say it was the killer who lit the torches. Who else could it be? The killer probably lit them, since it'd be impossible to do any cover-up work in the dark. However, if that's true, there is one thing that still bothers me. Why did the killer go to the effort of moving the body? That's true, it's hard to see how that could be of any advantage to the killer. The only one who would have gained anything from that would be the only person that was at the inner temple, Maya. Yeah, because Godot was protecting Maya. That is clear now. And he even taunted us about being unable to protect Maya and Mia. So he was trying to protect Maya. Very well, let's hear more about the condition of the crime scene. So you're saying the killer cleaned up the snow? It did look really odd. Yeah. The snow was removed in an unnatural looking rectangular shape around the lantern, which makes sense because if there was blood spilled on the snow, you needed that blood to be gone. The thing is that because Godot cannot see the writing on the lantern, he thought the scene was perfectly clean and no one would see this at the scene of the crime. But everyone would think of the other place as the scene of the crime. That's why he cleaned the snow, but he didn't clean the lantern. He was trying to protect Maya, but he couldn't see this, so he missed this.
There were a lot of shovels around the inner temple, but they are all really heavy. Way too heavy for me to use.
An odd fellow indeed, this killer. Why on earth would anyone want to take snow away?
Well, there is one thing I can think of. Didn't you say that a lot of the victim's blood sprayed onto snow? Yeah. Then it collapsed ended up being a splatter. In other words, the killer's purpose was to hide the bloody snow. And I think that's the most reasonable explanation.
Perhaps. However, there is something that's bothering me. If the killer wanted to hide the snow with blood on it, there was no need to remove that amount.
That's true, and that's because he cannot see the red, so he had to be safe.
Rookie mistake?
What? He could have scooped up just the snow that was stained with blood, unless your name is Godot and you cannot see the blood.
It looks like there are some mysteries behind this issue.
But I think this will help explain them.
So you're saying that you never saw the killer, right?
Yes, but earlier you clearly stated
You saw a man behind your attacker.
Nick, I'm sorry.
The killer certainly went through a lot of trouble, moving the body by pendulum, manipulating the crime scene. But for what purpose? Why do all that? Maybe Maya knows more than she's letting on. Let's press on this one. Naturally, the killer must have done it, right?
Yeah, I think so.
But why would the killer tamper with the crime scene like that? There must have been something that the killer desperately wanted to hide.
The truth is, when I saw the crime scene, I felt something.
You did?
Yes, I felt like the killer was hiding evidence for me. For my sake.
What? Hiding it for you?
Everyone knew that I was the only one at the inner temple that night. If Sister Bikini had come back and looked at the garden,
she may have thought that you had done it. No, she definitely would have thought so. And you are saying that's why the killer cleaned up the crime scene, to make it look like nothing had happened?
Yes, I'm sure of it.
Well, that's certainly an important piece of information. I want you to add that to your testimony.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, I think this is when I present the stone lantern again and use it to pin it on Godot, because since Godot cannot see the red, he didn't clean the lantern because he couldn't see the red. I think this is again the lantern time. Let's go with it. Let's roll with the lantern. The body of Elise Dog's Nim was carried all the way to Hasakura Temple courtyard. Then, at the garden, the real scene of the crime. The snow that we suspect was covered in blood was scooped and removed. The reason to believe all this was done in It's reasonable to believe all this was done in an attempt to hide the true crime scene. However, there is still one matter that seems somewhat odd. Oh, what would that be? You must have figured it out by now, Mr. Godot. The message written in blood on the lantern. It was written very clearly on the white stone lantern. Maya. I think if the killer was so motivated to protect Maya from suspicion, then why didn't they wipe the writing of the lantern? You're right. Order. But Mr. Wright, isn't it a fact that killer was trying to cover up the crime scene? Indeed, but it doesn't make sense to move the body and remove the bloody snow, then not wipe off the most incriminating thing of all, the bloody writing. But if that's the case, do you have an explanation for the killer's mysterious behavior? Why would the killer move the body and remove all the snow, but leave the bloody writing on the lantern? I don't know what the killer plan was, but it's a fact the killer left the writing on the lantern. There must be a reason for it. He couldn't see it. Well then, Mr. Wright, let's hear your opinion. Why did the killer leave the message written in blood on the lantern? The killer just didn't notice it. Prosecutor Godot, earlier in this trial, you gave me some good advice. Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. Maybe you're not as dumb as I thought. The real killer wanted to disguise the fact that the crime had occurred there. If that's the case, they wouldn't have left the bloody writing on the stone lantern on purpose. Therefore, it must mean that they didn't notice it.
But that doesn't make any sense. The torches were all lit and everything. There is no way any normal person would miss something as glaring as that.
You're right. There is no way any normal person would. What are you trying to say, Mr. Wright? The only person involved in this incident who could have missed seeing the bloody writing altogether. And who would that be? Who is this person that... Again, it's Godot. Who could have failed to notice the bloody writing? Mr. Godot, this is what you said yesterday. My eyesight is pretty messed up. Even with these huge goggles on my head, I can see everything. You can see everything. Is that correct, Mr. Godot? This lantern was submitted as evidence today. I would like the card to think back to the moment it was first presented. This lantern. There is something written on it. Why? It's written in blood. No sense. This lantern is as clean as a whistle. Mr. Godot just admitted there are certain colors you can see, correct? 1 second. Sorry, there was some noise. You can see red on white background, can you? That's right. We went through this once before, during the poisoning case at Trebian. This apron. This is the apron the delightful Miss Byard was wearing at the time. Oh, that's the thing you were saying about the cafe case. And somehow spilled coffee on. There is something still bothering me, Mr. Godot. Why have you not explained the bloodstain to the court? Bloodstain? What bloodstain would that be? Don't play games, Prosecutor. The blood-colored stain that's smeared all over the apron. That's ridiculous. No one told me anything about a bloodstain. You could see the coffee on the white apron, but you couldn't see the ketchup, because it was red. It's strange. In a black and white photo, those letters could have appeared black to me. I wonder, why am I the only one that can't see them? Why am I the only one that can't see them? So then, Mr. Godot, are you admitting it? Are you admitting that you can't see the red writing on the lantern? When I was playing this game, I logged in as soon as this scene played. Hey Grumps, didn't you know? That's the reason I don't drink red tea. I wasn't sure about it until now, but I just can't believe it. Prosecutor Godot is the murderer. But there is no going back now. I finally figured out the truth. Mr. Godot, the defense at this time formally accuses you. You are the murderer of Elistoff Slim, also known as Misty Faye. It's hard to believe this may be true, however, once again Mr. Wright has brought up a disquieting fact about you. Ha! Just make sure you don't fill out the indictment in red ink, Gramps. So I was prepared for every bloody evidence the game left behind to win against Godot? Come on. How does a little graffiti make me into the killer? Besides, it's not like the killer, it's not like my name was written there. I'm certain the killer wasn't able to see the color red. This is rich to go on, right? The answer is right there at the crime scene. In the snow. The snow, how so? Well, for example, did the killer move all that snow? Your Honor, you said it yourself. He wanted to hide the bloody snow, why not take out just that area? Yes, why didn't he just take that area? Ah, could it be? Yes, the killer couldn't see the red blood that had seeped into the snow. And so he had to remove all of the snow. He couldn't be sure where the blood had landed, so he removed the whole area. Isn't it more likely that the killer couldn't see the blood because it was dark? Not a chance. The torches were all lit. He would have been able to see just fine. It seems that once again this trial has taken an unexpected turn, to say the least. Can you explain this, Mr. Godot?
Wait just a minute.
Maya? What is it, witness?
Mr. Godot isn't the killer. After all, he didn't even come to the inner temple. Until 2 days after the murder took place. He didn't show up until after the old bridge got fixed.
Maya, you can testify to something like that.
Why? What do you mean?
After the murder happened, you didn't even exist. She didn't? I'm afraid I don't follow. Are you senile, old man? We established this a little while ago. After the murder, this witness was unconscious for a long time. Because she was channeling Dahlia Hawthorne. Oh, that's right.
Please, Your Honor, let me add to my testimony. Nick, please listen to me.
Maya, do you plan to cover for Godot no matter what the cost? If that's the case, then I've got no choice. Your Honor, let's hear her testimony. If it means we're going to hear the whole truth, I say we should not silence her. Nicely done, Wright. 1 second, I need a cookie and water. Water first, then cookie? Well, I just did it in the order I said. I ate the cookie, then drink the water. That way the water could wash up any remaining cookie in my mouth. Very well, let's hear her testimony. Please tell us what happened at the inner temple after the murder.
Yes, sir. After I woke up, I began channeling and my spirit left me, as it were. But little Pearly was there at the inner temple too.
Uh-oh. And so pineapple and... Is pineapple and pizza... The water takes away the taste? Not really.
Pearly was also stuck on the inner temple side that night. The next morning, she looked around but couldn't find anyone. The next day, when the bridge was finally fixed, she was in the spare prep room. That's when Mr. Godot arrived at the inner temple for the first time. He found Pearly first and cheered her right up.
But who is this Pearly?
That's my little cousin, Pearl Faye.
So when did you hear about this?
Oh, just a while ago, when I was in the medical office.
I'm terribly sorry. But what you hear from someone else is simply not admissible as testimony.
What? Come on. Pearly would never tell me a lie. She's a way more honest person than I'll ever be.
Maya, you cannot say that when you're trying to testify to protect someone. You're not the brightest candle in the cake, man. This girl. Real smart, Maya. You always know the best thing to say when you are under oath. Oh my god, even Phoenix is stunned. The prosecution has no objection. We believe the witness. Mr. Godot. Let us move on to the cross-examination if the defense has no objections. This is highly unusual, but, well, Mr. Wright. Let's get this cross-examination started. After the incident. Okay. We know for a fact this is true. We know for a fact this is true because she told us that and she started crying. We know this feels like... I mean, that could be true. That could be true. Let me press on this. Pearls didn't hear the sound of them working on the bridge.
What do you mean?
I was just wondering why she would stay in the prep room. If it was me, I'd at least go out and wait at the foot of the bridge.
Oh well, Pearly said she was sleeping at the time. She said she was so scared during the night that she couldn't sleep well and woke up a bunch of times.
Poor little girl, all alone like that. Well, we know that she had at least one friend in the sacred cavern, Dahlia Hawthorne, who was busy battling with the trick lock. She couldn't let anyone see her. She wouldn't have shown herself to Pearls. What happened after the bridge was finally fixed? Then... That's what... Okay. I don't think this is true though. I think Mr. Godot was there all the time. He cheered her up?
That's what Pearly said. She said he was a very nice older gentleman.
Sherlock is beer girls sumire necessary? You mean part-time sumire? Not really. As far as I'm aware of, she's not met anywhere. We can check that after. But not as far as I'm aware. Just for Walkabout Lunatic? Yeah, that sounds about right.
Thank you for looking after my cousin, Mr. Godot.
And here I was thinking you were nothing more than a coffee addict. Cut it out, you're making me blush. This guy is really beginning to get on my nerves in more than one way. The truth is that there aren't that many places to look on at the inner temple side. The policemen were all busy going over the garden with fine-toothed combs. Walkabout only? Alright then. Yes, thank you BJC. Now that I think of it, hello BJC, how you doing? You sneaky as always, huh? Happy Sunday! So I decided to carry out an investigation in my own way, Godot style. I'm the same way, I like to hand down verdicts in my own way, judge style. Maybe I should ask questions, Phoenix style. Godot's investigation, I guess. Happy Sunday to you too, just got up with the livestream, nice. You said that you conducted an investigation of your own. Did you find anything? It looks like my investigation went about as well as yours, right? After all, I did miss the bloody writing on the lantern. Well, I didn't miss it, so speak for yourself, Goggles. Is it true BJC means Big Jesse Cutter? What? The only odd thing I discovered was the beauty in the training hall. Beauty? Misty Faye, naturally. Clad in her stunning Japanese garb, surrounded by the hue and aroma of Western tastes. Western tastes? Could he find stranger ways to describe gravy? So from... Sorry. I right-clicked. Wait a sec, what did just Godot say now? I think I just found his proverbial weak spot. There is only one thing of any importance here. Where was Godot when the murder was taking place? He must have already been at the inner temple when it happened. Otherwise, he couldn't have killed Elixtos Nim. I need to know what BJ says means. You don't wanna know, man. You don't wanna know. It's a mystery that is better left unsolved. Okay, so here's the thing, right? He said the scroll, he described the scroll of Misty, he talked about the scroll of Misty Faye being covered by the gravy. Okay, and he specified it is Misty Faye. But if he got there after the murder had happened, he would have found this. Because Pearly did this before she was found. So he could have never known this is Misty Faye. So I think that's the BS. He was there already. It has to be. Mr. Godot, The first time you crossed the Dusky Bridge and went into the inner temple was long before the murder took place.
Why do you say that?
Because he just made one fatal slip-up. The hanging scroll in the training hall. Hanging scroll.
But... Mr. Godot is right. That scroll shows a picture of my mother.
Maya, I know you know who it is, but here is something you didn't know. By the time the bridge had been repaired 2 days after the murder, the hanging scroll in the training hall looked like this. What's that wonderfully delicious smell? The morning after the crime, someone covered it up with gravy.
Gravy? But why gravy?
Because gravy was much more than a condiment to the culprit. Well, Mr. Godot, if you really hadn't seen the hanging scroll until after the murder, you wouldn't have had any way of knowing that it was Misty Faye.
Wait a minute, Nick.
Yes?
Take another look at the hanging scroll. Look at the top, the crest. There's a crest there.
Ah, it's the mark of the master, right?
Exactly, so if you know the meaning of the mark,
then you could guess that it was a picture of Misty Faye on there. True, but Mr. Godot described what was underneath like this. Clad in her stunning Japanese garb, surrounded by the hue and aroma of Western tastes.
Oh!
Yes, it's possible that he knew what the crest meant. However, he couldn't have known she was wearing Japanese clothing. Mr. Godot, on the day of the murder, you were hiding at the inner temple long before the crime took place. Can I ask you one little thing, Wright? What is it? This whole theory of yours, it all rests on a certain assumption that I knew beforehand the crime was going to be committed.
That's right. Otherwise, there is no reason for him to sneak onto the crime scene.
Of course, Mr. Godot knew about the plan.
Huh?
What did you say? This has to be the letter, right? Because Pearly said that it was open once before. So he was the one to open the letter. It has to be the burned letter, it's the only way I can think of it. It's the only thing that makes sense. This crime was actually planned over a year ago. Morgan Fay authored the plan for her daughter's future, and these instructions were hidden somewhere in the Fay Manor for a year. However, by the time little Pearl found these instructions, they had been already unsealed. Unsealed? Yes, the killer had read these instructions long before Pearls ever found them. That's how he knew the crime was to take place at the inner temple. And you still insist this crafty killer is me. You bet I do. But you just said the instructions were hidden.
That's right. Mr. Godot couldn't have known where the instructions were hidden.
If he really wanted to know, he had one great chance to find out. Yes, and when was that? During a visit.
A visit?
Morgan Fay told her daughter Pearl about where the instructions were hidden. During one of her visits to the detention center. That would be the only time for someone to have learned where they were hidden. Eavesdropping on a visit at the detention center. Yes, it could have been arranged if you were someone with easy access in and out of there. Like, for example, a prosecutor such as Mr. Godot. Order, order! Mr. Godot, you are under fire again. This murder could have not been carried without prior knowledge, and you were the only one that could have acquired this information before the murder. Humans are afraid of the dark, and yet at the same time we're fascinated and bewitched by it. Maybe that's why humans drink the darkness that is coffee. Sorry for always asking, but what does that mean? It means there is a reason for everything. According to your theory, the killer in this case eavesdropped on a conversation during a jail visit where he learned of a hidden plan for a crime. After discovering the plans, he hid in the inner temple and waited for the crime to occur. Then he ultimately took a person's life. And he did it all of that just to protect this witness. That's right. If you're accusing me of a crime, I have to ask, why would I do this? This girl is nothing but a stranger to me. I've got no reason to go through that kind of trouble to protect her. I am what you see. I'm certainly not the type to rescue the damsel in distress. Yeah, you... sure. The killer behavior is certainly extreme, for lack of a better word. Even considering that the killer wanted to protect this witness' life. His behavior is still a little too unnatural. However, you had a good reason, didn't you, Mr. Godot? An unshakable reason that forced you to protect this witness at all costs. And here comes the part I was saying before. He was very mad with Phoenix because Mia died, and he said, you failed to protect Mia. And he took upon himself the duty to protect Maya in honor for Mia. That is the reason for he to protect Maya. Is, how you say it, is guilt, basically. What's the name of the guy who killed Mia? It was the rich dude I don't remember the name. It was the rich dude.
I knew it. You figured it out, haven't you, Nick?
Maya. I guess you were doing your best to cover for Godot. For the same reason, huh? Okay, Wright, I'm all ears. Let's hear it. It's very simple. Maya Fey is a lot more than just a stranger to you. What's this? There is one person who lies at the very center of this whole story. Wright. Oh, and he can't see red and white. I see. That's so clever. 1 second, ambulance. One person that ties you and Maya Fey together inextricably. Mia Fey. Oh, this is a 4 damage one, but it's obviously Mia. I'm confident. They cook with this, yeah. There was a very good reason why Maya Fey life is so precious to you. After all, she's Mia Fey's only sister. Mia Fey. You once worked alongside her. That's when you were a defense attorney. Wait a second here. Mr. Godot is a defense attorney. Why your honors-piercing intellect? With your honors-piercing intellect, you must have figured it out by now. The real name of this man, who called himself Godot, his real name is Diego Armando Maradona. Isn't that right? The last time someone called me by that name was over 6 years ago. Diego Armando. That name rings a bell. It should, Your Honor. All of this is related to a single case. A case in which a convict named Terry Foles committed shutdown. Mia Fey's first time in court, the tragic outcome left a deep wound in her heart. She knew that behind it all was a heartless scheming demoness in disguise. But in the end, Mia couldn't tear off that disguise. However, there was one man who reached out to help her. Oh no. Diego Armando, senior defense attorney at the office where Mia worked.
It's my fault. It's my fault that Foles shut down.
Mia, you can't cry yet. The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over. Damn, he was a Chad. He was a freaking Chad. I was moved by her. The way she put all of her faith in her clients, that pure sweet heart of hers. That's why I could never forgive Dahlia Hawthorne. Mia and I thoroughly investigated that fake kidnapping incident. Then one fateful day, Dahlia wanted to meet with me. It had been 6 months since the trial. We met in the courthouse cafeteria. Ah, I just remembered. 6 years ago, right here in this courthouse, you were poisoned. Even I didn't see that coming. Dahlia Hawthorne slipped some poison into my coffee. Some newspapers at the time called it a murder, but very little information about the case was released to the press. You weren't dead at all. No official reports ever actually called it a murder. I was just in a deep coma. I see. My body shut down and my life became nothing but a long, deep sleep. That woman poison did a real number on my central nervous system. I lost my sight, and all of my hair turned white due to the damage caused.
That's terrible.
Apparently it was a miracle that I ever regained consciousness. 5 years ago, 5 years had passed since I drank that poison brew. Then one morning, my eyes flew open from the smell of a doctor's cup of coffee. 5 years ago, you were asleep for 5 years, and the worst possible news was waiting for me. Mia Fey was dead. From the very moment I opened my eyes, I had already lost everything I thought I had. The woman I loved had been murdered, and the woman I loathed had been sentenced to death. The woman you loathed? The woman who had spiked my scalding hot coffee. Dahlia Hawthorne. What does mean loathe mean? Let me check. Oh, hate. It's literally hate. Detest, basically. It's a very fancy word to say detest. Good old Mia, she didn't let me down. She got her revenge before she checked out. In the end, there wasn't anyone waiting for me when I woke up.
That's so sad.
For some reason, for someone like me, for someone who had slept away their best days, there were only 2 reasons left to live. And it was for those reasons. It was for those 2 reasons that I decided to become a prosecutor. If I may ask, what were your 2 reasons to live? The first was you, right? Huh? Me? If I hadn't drunk that stupid poison, Mia Fey would have never died, much less the way she did. You were the only one who was there to protect her, but you let her die. It was all your fault. It wasn't like that. I wanted to see for myself what kind of a man you really were. So that's why you became a prosecutor? My other reason for leaving. She goes by the name of Maya Fey.
You mean me?
You were the only way I could make up for the sin of not saving Mia. 1 year ago, when the Kurain Village incident was resolved, it was obvious that Morgan Fey was planning something. Whatever her evil plan was, I was determined to stop it. My role as a prosecutor put me in the perfect position to do something about her. That's how you overheard Pearl's visit with Morgan at the detention center. I knew that the time was dawning near. Since I knew the plan, I thought I could foil it. My goal was to outwit the plan. I thought if I could do that, I could keep that girl from being caught up in it. That makes sense. If Pearl had known that the actual purpose of the plan was to kill Maya, she would have never held out. Finally, the day of the plan was drawing near. I contacted both of my accomplices. Accomplices? Iris of Hasakura Temple and Misty Fey. I especially needed the help of Iris. She was to take the fall in my backup plan in case we couldn't control Pearl Fey.
But how did you contact my mother?
She had been missing.
She had been missing for 20 years.
Officially, yes.
What? What do you mean officially?
You've heard about it, haven't you? About the strong ties between the main family and the government. Now that you mention it, Bikini said something to that effect. She said that the Master of Kurain had great authority. Even without her official position, Misty Fey still wielded great influence. The police have been keeping an eye on her movements at all time. That's how I was able to contact her. Again, because of my position as prosecutor.
So my mother was cooperating with you?
Don't ever forget. No matter how far away from you she was, she never stopped thinking about you.
She was always?
That's why I knew she would do anything to protect you. If you want to know how strong her resolve to protect you was, look at her staff. Her staff? The one with the sword in it? The day the plan was to be carried out arrived soon enough. We met for the first time at Hasakura Temple. That's when your mother showed me her special staff. I realized it then, just how far she was willing to go. She was ready to use that sword to protect you from Morgan Fey if necessary. Yes, even if it meant paying the ultimate price.
Mother?
That night, the night of the crime, there was one way to stop Morgan's evil plan. You mean Pearls, don't you? We had to make sure she didn't channel Dahlia.
Well, Pearl, what are you going to do tonight? Well, if you like, you can come to my room. Perhaps we can read some books together.
We thought we could prevent her from playing her part in Morgan's plan, but she never showed up.
She was worried and followed me to the inner temple.
That was the thing we were most afraid of, and that's why Misty Faye had to do the channeling herself. She channeled Dahlia Hawthorne into her own body. What do you mean? If she channeled the spirit first, then Pearls wouldn't be able to do it herself. By the way, what game are you picking up on stream after you finish this series? Saturdays are Attorney Saturdays, so it's going to be Ace Attorney Miles Edgeworth Investigations. That's going to be the next one. I meant this series. Yes, it's going to be when you run out of Ace Attorney. Well, I have a few ideas, but I think it's a little too early for that. But I have a few ideas. Man, I don't remember anything from Investigations. Damn. As Master of Kurain, Misty Faye power was supreme. So that's how it went down. She channeled Dahlia, so that Pearl Faye couldn't be able to. What is this true? My role in the plan was to make sure no one was going to hurt Maya Faye. That's why I hid myself at the inner temple, just in case you needed to be safe from Dahlia Hawthorne. Godot? I remember Kai and the rival guy from Investigations too. Well, I don't know who Kai is, so let's not spoil it, because I think we are going to be able to start the game today if we keep going fast, but anyway, that's all I'm going to admit to, Wright. Huh? There is no doubt about it, you're a great defense attorney. But you're going to have to do the rest yourself. The background leading up to the incident has been laid bare. There is just one question remaining, Mr. Wright. Who killed the victim? There are only two possible suspects right now. Maya Faye, and I'm sad to say you, Mr. Godot. It was Godot? Like, what the hell? Well, Wright. If you're the real deal, then finish this thing once and for all. Show us, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that you can finish this on your own.
No, Nick, please don't.
There is an aura scene coming up. Ooh.
I heard the whole thing from my sister in the medical office. That's why I have to protect Mr. Godot. I can't do it. I can't testify against him. After all, he's the man who put his life on the line to protect Mia, and me too.
Maya, I know that.
Nick.
But even so, it doesn't absolve him of his crime. Please, Maya, testify. Miss Faye, your testimony, please. This is the final testimony. Don't bother trying to hide anything, because I'll know. Was she acting like Phoenix didn't do the same for her? Because she doesn't know that Phoenix fell off a bridge. I want to hear the truth from your own lips.
I understand. I'm sure you're right. I'm ready now, Nick.
Alright, young lady. Tell us about the moments before you lost consciousness. From all the games? Let me think. How many times have Phoenix put his life on the line for Maya? Shelly the Killer? The Breach? He got beat up by... yeah, Red White? And that's it. That's a fair amount. What exactly happened at the time of the murder? The time of the murder.
Just before it happened, I think I saw some red lights. 3 of them. I thought I asked for help, but then just then I was splattered with blood.
He also defended her in court? Yeah.
She wasn't dead though, and she struck back at the enemy behind her. Suddenly the red lights went out, and the whole area was dark. Just a moment, there was a horrible scream. Right after that, Dahlia collapsed, and I lost consciousness.
The red lights. I thought you said you don't remember seeing them.
I'm sorry. I thought I saw them, but then they disappeared all of a sudden.
Things break, right? Even the best of theories. Who was it that stabbed Misty Faye? It looked like you can still prove it. Maya is telling the truth this time, I know it. The rest is up to me. Well then, Wright. Proceed with your final cross-examination of the witness. Okay. So we know this is Godot and this is consistent. So she didn't scream. That blood, was it Dahlia Hawthorne's blood?
I think so, probably. Just at that moment, I heard a soft scream that seemed to be close by. It was a woman's voice.
So that's when the killer stabbed the victim from behind with the murder weapon. Is that right? Without a doubt, Maya was in the middle of a really dangerous situation. Anyway, the victim was stabbed by the murder weapon. What happened after that?
She wasn't dead though, as she struck back at the enemy from behind her.
Oh, I see. She actually got to harm Godot with the dagger. And the blood in the dagger, which has been confirmed to not be the victim's, is Godot's blood. That's gonna be it, because she struck back.
Suddenly the red lights went out and the whole area was dark. Just at that moment, there was a horrible scream. Right after that, Dahlia collapsed and I lost consciousness.
I've got to use this testimony to prove that Godot committed the murder. I really wish I didn't have to do it, but for some reason, I get the feeling that some part of Godot actually wants me to. Maybe, well, here is a thing. One thing that... Okay, where is it? So, what leads me to believe that, I mean, I think this statement, because, okay, I don't know why that statement is not part of this testimony. Oh wait, I'm being stupid. She said it when I pressed. She said she heard a soft scream, a woman's voice. She was very specific about that. But here, she's just saying there was a horrible scream, but she's not being very specific about it. I think that that scream was Godot when she got stabbed with the dagger. So let me press here. What do you mean by just at that moment? Do you mean the moment when the red lights went out?
Yes, that's right.
That scream you heard then, was it Dahlia Hawthorne?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure. It was a man's voice.
You see? That's Godot. Sorry, I had to mute because the washing machine has such a loud little freaking tune when it's done, and it's so high pitched that I'm pretty sure the mic would have picked it up, and it's so freaking long too. So then that scream came from the killer. That's got to be it.
I think Dahlia Hawthorne must have taken the blade and attacked the killer with it.
And then the killer let out a scream of pain, huh? No, okay, I see. Dahlia didn't know that Misty Faye... Okay, Dahlia didn't know that that staff had a sword. So, she threw it to the ground and took out a dagger, as it was testified. Yeah, so she took out a dagger. Someone testified to that before. Iris, was it Iris? Yeah, Iris said that she took a dagger out of her rose when she was saying that she saw the fight. With that dagger, she stabbed Godot after Godot had picked up the staff and stabbed her.
After that, the killer stole the blade back and delivered the final blow, I guess.
Well, Mr. Wright, it seems to make sense to me. It sounds like a reasonable deduction, but I still that kind of wonder. There is a contradiction here. I'm sorry to say this, but that interpretation would create an enormous contradiction. That makes sense, after all my deductions are almost certainly never correct. This judge is such a character. I hope he's a recurring character in future games, because I'm gonna miss him if he's not. Remember the testimony she just gave. Before the killer let out a scream, Maya said she had already been splattered by the victim's blood. In other words, the blade in the staff had already been plunged into the victim.
Is that right?
She couldn't have struck back with the sword that was already stuck in her body. The weapon that caused the killer to let out a scream must have been something other than the staff. Damn it, it's a staff fest out there. Yeah, it feels like London. If you're so sure about that, then don't keep us waiting any longer, right? There is only one thing that I can think of. and that could have been used as the murder weapon here. As the weapon here. If Dahlia Hawthorne had already been stabbed by, in the back by the staff. Feel like London is devious? Well, what could have... The dagger. What could she have used to strike back at the killer? Naturally, the dagger that the killer brought to the scene of the crime. Oh, that's right, I forgot about that. This dagger was found at the crime scene, struck into a pine tree. Yes, and the detective phoned this morning and brought it to me. Dahlia Hawthorne struck back at the killer with this, and she managed to wound him as well. Just because he let out a scream doesn't mean that he was wounded. For all we know, the blood on the dagger could have been from the victim. Objection, we just said that it's not the victim's. Have you forgotten that the blood has already been tested? Since we learned it wasn't the victim's blood, it must be the killer's blood. The killer must have a wound somewhere on his body. So you're saying the blood on this dagger belongs to the killer? Exactly. A DNA analysis of the blood would prove it beyond a shadow of doubt. And yes, Mr. Godot, it would prove that it's your blood. Nice theory, right? Order in the court. Is this the end? Have I done it? Even he won't be able to change the result of a scientific test. Let me ask you something, Wright. Let's just say that it turned out that I was the killer. Do you really think I would be stupid enough to leave evidence like that? What? Just think for a second. This dagger was found this morning by a detective and brought to me. There was blood on it, correct? But even so, I was the one who brought this dagger here to the courtroom. Yes, what does that prove? Well, if I really were the killer, I could have washed the blade off and then planted another person's blood on it. It can be. In any case, there is one thing I can guarantee, right? That blood, it doesn't belong to me. Not a chance. What? If it's not the dagger, and it's not his blood... No, it has to be him. In any event, it seems to be established that the killer was wounded. Alright then, witness, continue your testimony.
Wait a minute.
What's the problem?
I know probably shouldn't say this, but there is a big contradiction in Nick's explanation.
What? Maya?
This dagger, you said it wounded the killer.
That's right.
But if Mr. Godot had really been caught with this dagger, his clothes should be bloody or have a rip in them, right?
Maya? Maybe he just changed his clothes. That solved the contradiction pretty easily.
What are you talking about? It's not that simple at all. Remember back to the day of the murder. Everyone was on the inner temple side and got trapped there.
That's right. And once the bridge was fixed, the police headed for the inner temple. Mr. Godot was already waiting for them.
He never had a chance to change his clothes.
Well, maybe he brought a change of clothes with him. But No one could have predicted the lightning strike that shot down the bridge. Why would anyone have brought a change of clothes?
Did the judge take the smart pills during the last recess? Well then, maybe the killer took off his clothes before he committed the murder. That way, he couldn't get any blood on them. That's impossible, Wright. You know how cold it gets up there late at night. After a few minutes with no clothes, you'd be frozen solid. So that's all you've got? I knew you weren't tough enough to finish this. Right now, Mia Fey, if Mia Fey were here, she would have closed the book on this case already. If Mia Fey were here... So come on, Wright, can you do it or not? He really wants me to do it. He wants me to explain it.
How about it, Mr. Wright? You accuse Mr. Godot of being the killer.
Wait, I know. Because she said the lights went out. He got a stroke in the face on the visor.
Could that be it? But can you prove it? Have you got evidence? Have you got even one piece of evidence?
Could that be it?
So complicated.
The question isn't whether I can prove it or not. The fact is I have to prove it. That's the only choice I have. I was thought that it is one of the rules of being a lawyer. Okay, I can prove it. I'm going to bring your magnificent vengeance to fruition, just as you want it. Ha, that's good. A fighter till the bitter end. Right. Since there is just one piece of evidence that can prove your point, why don't you go for it? Why don't we go? It has to be the visor. It has to be the visor. Because she said the lights went off. It has to be the visor. Why don't we go for the unlimited penalty? Are you trying to pressure me, Mr. Godot? Because it doesn't matter to me. I've got one piece of evidence, the one piece of evidence I need. Give me a break. You got nothing, right? So what do I do at a time like this? It's simple. I gotta think out of the box and approach this from a different angle.
Alright, Mr. Wright. Let's hear what you've got.
There is one thing I've demonstrated in the previous cross-examination. The killer was wounded. That was proven by the blood on this dagger.
But we decided it was impossible for him to have hidden such a wound. If he had been caught by a dagger, there should have been a blood stain on his clothing.
There is one place the killer could have hidden his gun.
What did you say?
Hidden? This is it, my last stand. I need to think about this. Wait, he also previously said that he needed to do maintenance on his visor. I'm pretty sure he explicitly said he needed to do maintenance on his visor, that's why he was absent. This is my last stand, I need to think about this from a different angle. I don't need to think about why there were no bloodstains on his clothing. I need to show how he hid the wound. It's the end of the line.
The final stop, right? Let's hear what you got. Where is the location? You say the... Okay. So I'm guessing the profile. I don't know what you're talking about. And frankly, I don't need to know. What do you think is that? You'll never be half... What I do know is that you'll never be half the lawyer she was. Isn't that right, Wright? What was that just now? Mia? It can be. You are living on through him. Even as we speak, you are still hiding the Gund. It's beneath your mask. During the fight, the red lights given off by the killer suddenly disappeared. Seconds later, the killer let out a scream. That's right, your mask went flying off your face. Mr. Godot, would you mind removing your mask? If you have a dagger gun under there somewhere, then I'd say this whole case is solved. I feel bad for Godot though. I really feel bad for him. He has been the less cheaty prosecutor we have ever faced in terms of character. Just now, I saw her spirit in you. I never liked you. 6 years ago. You helped the woman who put me to sleep by hiding her bottle of poison. And then, while I was sleeping, you let Mia die. But you didn't care, you just kept living your pathetic happy-go-lucky life. You even had the nerve to follow in her footsteps as a lawyer. I could never forgive you. That's what I thought.
Mr. Godot?
But I was wrong about you. I knew it from the very beginning. The truth is, the only person I could never find it in. I could never find it in my heart to forgive. Was me. Yourself? I was the one that failed to protect Mia. Me and no one else. I tried to avert my eyes from the truth, to escape from the harshness of reality. I just couldn't face Mia's death head-on, so I ran. I hid behind a mask. I threw away my true name. I couldn't even deal with being a defense attorney anymore, so I quit. But you saved Maya! Yeah, that was my plan. Up until just now, anyway.
What do you mean?
Are you listening, Maya? If I had really wanted to save you, then there is one person that I should have gone and talked to right away.
Who would that be? Are you talking about Nick?
But I didn't do it. I tried to get the help of Iris and your mother. But I closed my eyes to the most important man involved. Do you know why? The real reason?
No. Why?
I suppose I wasn't really interested in saving you at all.
Huh?
I think I was just trying to salvage what's left of my own broken soul. I was trying to make up for the fact that I couldn't save Mia. Nothing more. That's why I let you walk right into a situation that I knew was dangerous. Forgive me. You're wrong. You put your life on the line to save Maya. Was it really for Maya's sake? I'm not even really sure. 1 second, I need some water. Even I'm not really sure. What do you mean by that?
That night in the darkness of the garden, when I saw her silhouette, a part of me must have known the truth. The truth that it wasn't really Dahlia Hawthorne standing there in front of me. It could have been Misty Faye, or even that little girl. But I still picked up the blade, and it was like I was dreaming. I'm not sure what was going on in my mind at that point. I was really motivated by the pure desire to protect Maya Fey, or was it something else? Was it my hatred for a woman who had stolen everything from me 6 years earlier? Could it have been simply a desire for revenge? And now I don't know anything anymore. I did learn something today, however. I finally realized I was the arrogant one. I was just chasing an illusion, a fantasy. The stupid fantasy of defeating you in the courtroom. You were the one who made me realize my folly. You never ran away from me as dead. Instead, you pick up where she left off, as a true defender of the people. In that moment, I understood everything. Mr. Godot, I think you already know this, but if you don't, my name is Diego Armando.
Mr. Armando, I believe in you. I know you were trying to save me.
Thanks.
Tears of blood. Damn, that's so dramatic, man.
Your wound. It's bleeding. Did you forget already? In my world, the color red doesn't exist. This must be my tears.
Tears?
Ever since I woke up from my coma, I think I've been waiting for this very moment.
Mr. Armando,
You do well to remember this, Maya. The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over.
Damn. He was a chat to the end. This time, it's really all over, isn't it? The defendant...
Yes, Your Honor.
Although you weren't directly involved in the murder, tampering with the body and the crime scene is a serious offense in itself.
I understand, Your Honor.
Mr. Armando explained to me very carefully.
I know the risk, and I willingly cooperated anyway.
Very well. Before I hand down my verdict, is there anything you'd like to say?
Well, there is one thing I'd like to say. I'd like to say something to Mr. Wright. I want to apologize to you.
Apologize to me? For what?
For the case 5 years ago, of course.
I just remembered. Weren't you poisoned by your own lover? Not exactly, but yeah, something like that. Even now, 5 years later, I can hardly believe it. She was going to do it. She was planning to kill me.
It's not all that surprising. The two of you hardly knew each other.
Huh? What do you mean?
You and my sister, you only met twice.
Huh? We only met twice?
The first time you met was on that fateful day. The day she poisoned Mr. Armando in the cafeteria of this very courthouse. The next time you met was 8 months later. You met her again on the day she stole your cold medicine. And Dog Swallow was killed.
No way, it just can't be true. They were dating this. I mean, during our whole relationship, we were.
For those 8 months, the woman that you thought was Dahlia Hawthorne wasn't actually my sister.
It wasn't Dahlia.
I hope one day you can forgive me. Finny.
Oh my god, that is a turn of events? You mean...
That's right. I lied to you for 8 months.
Oh my god. But why? Why would you do such a thing? Oh my days, indeed.
Ever since she gave you the bottle that day, my sister was trying to get it back as soon as she could, as possibly she could. Because of the police investigation under surveillance, she couldn't move about freely.
So that's why you...
My sister, from the beginning she was prepared for the worst.
Prepared for the worst?
She thought that you might somehow discover the truth. That's why she was always ready to deal with you at a moment's notice.
You mean she was ready to kill me? Don't you?
She already had so much to answer for, and I didn't want any more sins on her soul. I begged her not to do it, and she agreed to give me a chance.
And that's why you came to me. You came to get the bottle pendant back from me in her place.
But I couldn't get you to give it back. I failed at something even as simple as that. 8 months passed and I still couldn't get it back from you. Finally, my sister couldn't wait any longer. She didn't consult me about her plans for you that day. It was the first time that ever happened.
That was a bit strange, wasn't it? Up until that day, you two were partners in crimes, and she would confer with you.
I think she must have noticed.
Notice what?
My feelings for you. If I had found out she was planning to kill you, I would have done whatever necessary to stop her, even if that meant her life or mine.
Iris?
After spending those 8 months by your side, my feelings towards you, they change.
I have something to say to you too.
Yes?
You really are the person I always thought you were. Even after Dahlia Hawthorne was found guilty, I still believed in you. Yeah, like Phoenix was always saying, this is not the Dolly I knew. She's a completely different person, so deep inside, he was right. It was a different person.
Thank you.
How many cups of darkness have I drank over the years? Even I don't know. I tell you though, right now, this one here is the greatest cup I ever had. Don't you think so, Phoenix Wright?
Phoenix? Yeah, I think you're right. Drinking coffee too? The purpose of this trial was to rule on the murder of the victim, Elise Doxnim. At some point I expect you will be tried for your role as an accomplice in this case.
I understand, Your Honor.
Very well, on the charge of murder, I hereby find the defendant not guilty. Courtroom is adjourned. Man. February 10th, 4:51 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 1. So I guess it's all over. The way everything ended, was justice really served? The man who risked his life to save Maya is being sent to prison by my own hand. Of course, justice was served.
Of course, justice was served.
Mia?
I'm proud of you, Phoenix. Your defense was truly brilliant.
But I couldn't save Armando.
The man who cared so deeply for you.
You're wrong, Phoenix.
You're wrong, Phoenix. You did save Diego. You saved him from the only way, in the only possible way. Way possible.
You mean with that verdict?
I think one day you'll understand too. Phoenix, I want you to remember one thing. You were as good out there today as any defense attorney could ever hope to be. There is nothing more you can learn from me.
Mia?
You've accomplished something I wasn't able to. I owe you a great deal. Thank you.
Mia.
I'm sure we'll meet again someday, Phoenix.
We handled a lot of cases and seen a lot of things. And along this journey, I found myself asking just one question. What does it really mean to defend someone? I suppose today's case produced one possible answer.
Nick?
Maya?
I guess it's just like my sis said.
Mia, what did she say?
That night, when I channeled Mia to get her advice on what to do, this is what she wrote back in my notebook. Don't worry, Phoenix will save everyone in the end.
But...
Come on, put it out! With that gloomy face. Can you see? My sis, and I'm sure Iris too. We owe you for everything you've done for us, Nick.
Maya?
How can you be so bright and chipper after all that's happened?
You were brutally attacked. You even saw your own mother murdered.
Francisca? Still a soft as always, Phoenix Wright.
Excellent work. Excellent work, Wright.
Huh, Mr. Edgeworth? When did you get back?
Oh, that's right. I guess no one filled her in on that. Edgeworth and Francisca have actually been helping me.
Helping you?
If these two hadn't been here on the first day of the trial, the defense wouldn't have gotten anywhere.
Wow! But where were you, Nick? I heard he fell into a river and caught a nasty cold which forced him to sleep all day.
Yes, he laid in bed shivering from his fever, with Iris' hood pulled over his head.
Oh, ouch! Talk about embarrassing, Nick. You definitely need more training. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. And you too, Francisca.
I don't suppose there is room for me in this grub hack, huh? Is there?
Oh, Larry! What's with the longer than usual face?
What is with the longer than usual face? I realized something when I was reborn. I realized that Larry was never of any use to anyone, not even once.
That's not true, right, Nick?
What? You're asking me? Well, Nick, is it true? I've got a place in this world, right? Yeah, of course. I knew it. Everyone would be better off if I were gone for good. No. Oh yeah. Those portraits you painted, they were really good. Isn't that right, Edgeworth?
What? Me?
Why are you making that face? Huh, Edgy?
Oh well, yeah, indeed. I certainly can't say that they lack resemblance.
You really mean it? What about you, Francie? Did they draw you well too?
My beauty My beauty can't possibly be captured by a mere crayon. Nevertheless, I recognize the effort you put into it, and that's worth something.
So then you'll do it, like you promised? You're going to model for my next picture book?
Don't get carried away.
Did she ever promise that? Well, how about that? I guess painting portrait is the only thing I'm good at. The painting of Pearl was pretty darn good too, if you ask me.
Now that you mention it, I haven't seen her around.
Pearls, where she could have gone? Normally, she would have made a beeline for Maya. Oh, I'll go look for her. Be right back. Hey, Pearly!
Right. You seem to be uncharacteristically puzzled. I suspect you're wondering how Maya can be so cheerful despite all that has happened.
Yeah?
To be honest, I can understand it either.
Francisca?
That's right, she lost her father recently. As well.
I think I understand how she feels. Maya is a much wiser person than she appears. I think she realizes something. Now is exactly the time when she needs to be as strong as she can.
What do you mean by now is exactly the time?
Maya wasn't the only one that was badly wounded by this incident. In fact, there was someone that was hurt far more deeply than she. I believe it's for that person that Maya is trying her best not to cry.
Someone who was hurt more deeply than Maya. Yeah, obviously Pearly. Don't you think Pearly heard that she was about to kill Maya? And everyone did all of that just to stop her from doing that and to save Maya? Edgeworth, I think I'm starting to understand too.
Then tell me, Phoenix Wright, who is Maya Fey? Being strong for
Obviously Pearl, you dense idiot.
Pearl Fey?
The poor kid, after all. The reason that she worked so hard to follow the instructions was because she loved and believed in her mother, Morgan Fey. It's for the good of the Fey clan. I'm sure she believed in every last word. She thought she was doing it for Maya. That's why she was so happy. And it shows how truly devoted she is to Maya.
But it's a cruel irony that it was her exuberance that led to this tragedy. Maya's Fey mother was killed and Maya herself was put into the deepest peril imaginable.
And that's exactly why Maya is putting on a brave face. She's doing it for Pearl's sake, until she can see her smile again. Oh hey, this is where you all were. Wow, it looks like what was that for, sir?
Sorry about that, Scruffy. My whip just seems to have a mind of its own.
Got busy for a bit, caught up with the stream again, and yeah, this case is one of the greats. All the final cases are always slam dunks, indeed.
What's up, Detective Gumshoe?
Oh, you know, this and that. Anyway, congrats on your win. Let's go out tonight, pal. Dinner's on me. My salary just sorta kinda gone down by a teeny weeny, but it's alright.
How does his salary keep going down? Like, does he get, like, rises and then just to cut it down again?
I made reservations at a first-class French restaurant tonight.
Pretty good work, Scruffy. That whip was your reward.
Detective Gumshoe? You said a first-class French restaurant. You don't mean... Très bien! Where else? I knew it. We are doomed. Maybe he has insane bonuses? Who knows? Come on, let's go everyone. Can't keep Maggie waiting, pal. Hey, you crybaby, you're invited too. We're doomed indeed. Oh, forget about me. Pearl and I will be at the loser's shack eating potatoes. You know Maya's taking an awfully long time to get back. She's still out looking for pearls? Oh, Maya, what's wrong?
Nick, what do I do? Pearly, I can't find her anywhere.
Huh? I'll bet she just went back home, that's all.
I thought so too, so I called the village. But no one has heard from her. This has never happened before.
As I figured, she has been badly hurt by this incident. She feels responsible for the tragedy that has befallen you, Maya.
But none of this was her fault. What should I do?
Detective Gumshoe? Yeah, what is it, pal? Could you guys go on ahead? But what about you? Maya and I will... well, join you guys once we find pearls.
Nick?
Don't worry about us, Detective Gumshoe. We may be a little late, but we'll definitely be there. You have a lot of celebration to do tonight, and I wouldn't miss it for the world. Yeah, but you're the...
Very well, Phoenix Wright.
We'll go on ahead.
Don't keep us waiting, Wright.
We won't.
But where should we look? Where could Pearly have gone?
Let's go, Maya. There is only one place I can think of that pearls might have gone. February 10th, Hasakura Temple, main gate.
Hasakura Temple?
For pearls, I bet this is a very important place. After all, it's where this whole incident started.
What's this? You're all back again so soon. Sister Bikini? I thought we'd be eating mashed potatoes alone tonight. So she's here, Pearl's here? She's in the training hall. Why don't you hurry along and go see her? Oh, okay. Pearl's not here.
Hmm? Maya, the hanging scroll. Someone cleaned it off.
Someone cleaned it off.
It's got to be pearls.
Mystic Maya? Pearly? Why? Why did you just leave like that? Mystic Maya. Mystic Maya.
Poor Pearly, I feel so bad for her.
I swore that I would never trouble the two of you ever again. Because it's all my fault that Mystic Maya's mother.
That's why you came here.
It's the least I could do to pray for your happiness. You don't have to do that, Pearly. It wasn't your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. Of course, I'm sad that my mother is gone. But how do I say this? Am I still happy? You don't have to lie just to make me feel better. No, really, it's true. The only reason I'm still here is all thanks to everyone who was there for me. My sis, my mother, Mr. Armando, Nick.
Sherlock voice Pearly always give me the shivers. Why?
Even if no one, if even one of you weren't there, I'm sure I wouldn't still be alive right now. That's why I have to be strong. For all the people that were there for me when I needed them. That's all I can do. Mystic Maya? I'm impressed. You truly are the daughter of Mystic Misty. Sister Bikini? Your mother, Mystic Misty, was a strong woman indeed. I want to tell you what she said to me that night. After dishonoring the good name of Kurain, I don't have the right to face my daughter. But still Maya is always in my thoughts. It's true. She'll always be with me until the day I die.
That's so ironic.
Your spirit was with her. That's why your mother was so strong. Even at the end, I'm sure she had no regrets.
She'll always be with me until the day I die, huh? There is a rule or something all masters are to follow, isn't there? To never take off the charm until the day you die.
That's the master talisman.
The thing that Misty kept by her heart and would never take off. It wasn't the container that was important, rather its contents.
That's a photo? Mother.
It's only natural for living creatures to fight to protect their own lives. But what makes us human is that we fight for others. But who do you fight for? How hard must you fight? That's the true measure of what human life is worth. We defense attorneys are warriors who are constantly challenged by that question. Even when the battle is over and the bonds that connect us are served, we always return time and time again. Mia, Maya, Pearls, Mr. Armando, and Maya's mother too. I learned that from all of them.
I know we are past the time, guys, but it would be so anticlimactic to just end the stream, so I'm just pushing it to the end. It can't be that much longer.
Well, shall we get going? Everyone's waiting. This is a day to remember, a day when a lot of things were finally put to rest. I think we should celebrate that we overcome today.
But I still can't.
An unofficial Fate tradition? Yeah, hello Astrid.
Oh, go on, sweetie. You can come back for training anytime. Okay. Alright, I'm going to make a brand new start too. Sister Bikini, I'll be back for more training, I promise. I know, and I won't go easy on you just because you're the future master. I'll make sure to prepare reservations for the three of you when you come back. Alright, we're going to have a great feast today, Pearly.
Maya and Phoenix 3-3, I used to break things all the time when I was little, you know? Well, Pearls and Adrian seem to have picked up where you left off, with the same object nonetheless. Adrian fixed it, so W Adrian, yeah.
Okay, Mystic Maya. I'll eat lots and lots of food tonight.
You know, there is one thing I don't get, and probably you don't want to, but...
What is it, Nick?
Reservations for training is all fine and all, but why for 3?
Come on, what do you think? You're one of us, Nick. Next time you can train right alongside us.
Huh?
I'll be waiting for you. Sister Bikini will take special care of you.
Huh?
It will be great, Nick. We're going to do some special course, naturally.
Huh?
That's a great idea. After all, Mr. Nick, you'd do anything for Mystic Maya, wouldn't you? You can walk on hot coals, right? We'll have a nice big meal before we come next time, right, Nick?
You know, I was wondering if I can just say one little thing.
Sure, of course you can. Oh, I love this part. I can't wait to hear it. I'm getting goosebumps too.
Well then, here goes nothing.
Objection. Okay. Oh my god. So we're done with the... Oh wait.
I really have to work extra hard now.
Okay, I cannot read this. This always goes too fast. I cannot read this out loud. They go too fast, guys. But... This is the end, huh? We're done with the trilogy. Man, what a game. What a game. But Maggie bought me a brand new coat. Aww. That's so cute. In the name of love, he's such a romantic. Adrian, hello! What? Adrian trained her in the whip arts? What? Oh, I hate him. I hate Ron. I hate Ron so much. She's such a schizo. I love his wife, we all do, man. But don't let her know. Viola. Man. She's as scary as ever. Okay. I'm just gonna go through with my final thoughts of the game. So, just starting with my thoughts on the third game and then the overall experience. I think that overall, the first game is the best. The third game is a close second, and the second game, in my opinion, is the worst of the trilogy. Because the second game, the cases weren't that interesting, and the circus case was just so annoying that it really, I really think that case weighed down the game a lot. So, when it comes to this game, the first case, the stolen turnabout. I'm skipping, obviously, talking about the tutorial case. That's the stolen turnabout. I think the restaurant case is the worst in Phoenix Wright trilogy. I agree with that. And I'm gonna go through that too. But starting with the first case, right? The mask case. The mask case, as ridiculous as it was, I actually liked it a lot because it played a lot into old, like, Sherlock Holmes tale style. You had the mastermind in Detective Look at Me being a Moriarty type character, but he was also playing the role of Holmes, but obviously he was Moriarty all along. Mask the Mask, Ron the Light was a horrible character. I don't care whatever people may think. I think Ron the Light is one of the worst characters of the series in general. He's just a horrible character. But the case overall was pretty fun. Some of the outs were pretty clever. The way that everything turned out and just took shape at the end, I think it was very ingenious. The worst is the old bag. She's probably tied with him. The restaurant case, I agree with Bodoka, it's probably the worst case in the series. The characters were horrible. The start of the case is just so stupid. Like, the fact that they even manage to I wanted to save a screenshot of that. The fact that they even managed to confuse Phoenix with Furio annoyed me to hell. That annoyed me to hell. Like, how could that ever happen? That really annoyed me to hell. So that was so stupid. The case itself was dumb. I feel like the case itself was dumb. Freaking John, the chef, what was the name? John Armstrong. He was so weird. Victor could annoyed me to hell. Like, all the characters in that case, besides Maggie and Viola, basically are just bad characters. Like, it was such a bad case. The restaurant case was just bad. However, this final case that was basically split in two parts: the turnabout of the beginnings and the bridge to the turnabout. It was really just so good. I feel like it finally put a close to so many things at the same time, and it did in such a good way. I was very satisfied with the conclusions that we got and the closure that we got through this case. However, as I said, my favorite game remains the first one. I think that the first one is the one that on average has the best cases. Maybe it doesn't have the highest highs, but it doesn't also have the lowest lows. And I feel it's a more even experience, and I really liked that. While in the second game, the circus turnabout was just a big valley, and then we went back to peak. And in the third game, the same. Like, the restaurant case was a huge crater, and then we went like to the Everest. It was so good. This is the first game against all the powerful people. The first game is against all the powerful people. Yes. Also, that's the other thing that I felt, and you guys may disagree with this, but I think that the villains in the first game were a lot better. Like, all the villains in the first game were truly evil. They were powerful, they had bad intentions, they felt untouchable. They were not, oh, I made a mistake, or oh, I'm doing this for revenge, or oh, I'm doing this for... They were truly evil. They were just doing it for themselves. They were selfish. They were evil people. And that makes it feel a lot more real. While in the other games, the intentionality behind the villains just felt so off. It didn't really... It just didn't tickle that fancy of, oh, I hate this character because he's so evil. The only one in game 2 that tickled that fancy of a truly evil character was the freaking samurai case. 1 second, guys. Okay, the only one that in the second game that tickled that fancy was in the Steel Samurai case. That freaking dude that revealed to be a piece of crap. Even Shelly the Killer didn't feel that evil because he's an assassin, he's a contractor, he's evil in nature, but the freaking I don't remember his name because he was so annoying. Does anyone remember the name of that dude? What was his name? Wait, I'll just find out. That was Justice for All, and the case was My Farewell Turnabout, I think. Yes, okay. Where is it? Matt and Guard. Matengard. Matengard, he was a truly evil character. He was really freaking evil. But the other cases, like the turnabout of the big top is so bad. Like, oh, I just wanted to kill her, but I accidentally killed the master, and oh, I feel so bad, and it because my brother, and blah blah blah. Like, it just felt so weak. The first case, it was... It just felt stupid. Like, it just felt stupid. It was all orchestrated, and I don't know, I was just not satisfied with it. It just felt like a series of things that happened, but I just didn't get like that feeling. Also, the villain was multiple people. Like, you had on one side Inimini that was looking for revenge. You had Morgan Fay that was trying to set up Maya. Like, having the evil deeds split between multiple characters, I think it was a big mistake, because it doesn't allow you to focus on one character, and that makes it a little bit... like, it spreads the hate a little too thin, and you just don't get to actually detest the evil character. And I like detesting the evil character. But yeah, that's pretty much how I feel about the game. Now, if I have to give the trilogy a score, I would say is about an 8, because when the cases are bad, they are just not worth the time. Like, I really feel like we could have skipped through the bad cases in each game, and it would have been a better experience. Nonetheless, even if they were bad cases, I don't think they were like horrible, but when you have the other cases to compare them to, they feel especially bad, because the bar is set so high before them and after them, so whenever you hit them, they just feel very bad. But the games are at their worst when players start feeling like we are still entertaining this witness. Exactly. There were those cases, the freaking coffee shop, and the circus turnabout. There were so many moments in which I was thinking, like, how long do we have to talk to this guy? Why are we still talking to this person? Those moments are when I really like brain turn off. I just read it for you, try to stay on the thing, but my brain is not processing, because at a certain point all the things that they are saying, they just feel very pointless. But with that said, guys, it's been a pleasure. Very much over the time, so it's time to end the stream. Tomorrow we continue with Elden Ring. This week will be the last Elden Ring exclusive week, and next Saturday we are starting with Investigations. With that said, guys, thanks everyone for watching. I hope you had as much fun as I did. I wish you a good rest of your day or night, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.